mga ga. Andito na naman ang inyong lingkod na CHS Nurse upang maghatid ng isa na namang napakahalaga at napapanahong paksang pangkalusugan. Ating alamin ang route of transmission at kaugnayan nito sa communicable disease. Ito ay pinamamagatang awareness in the mode of transmission of common communicable diseases. The health of children is the foundation for success in education. Controlling the spread of communicable disease in the community is the legal responsibility of the Department of Health and local health departments. However, public health officials rely upon the cooperation and contribution of schools, healthcare providers, students, and parents to prevent the spread of disease. Communicable diseases can be spread in a variety of ways, referred to as transmission modes. These transmission modes can be grouped into three major forms: droplet, airborne, and contact. Number 1. Droplet transmission. Ang droplets ay nabubuo tuwing umuubo, pagbahing, pagsasalita o maging sa pagkanta. These large droplets travel less than 3 feet before falling to the ground and do not remain suspended in the air. Before falling to the ground, droplets may be deposited on the mucous membranes of the eye, nose, or mouth of another person within 3 feet, resulting in transmission of infection. Droplets may also be implicated in contact transmission. Infections with respiratory tract symptoms, including, for example, runny nose, cough, or sore throat, are often spread by large droplets containing viruses. Number 2. Airborne transmission. Airborne transmission occurs when an infected person coughs, talks, or sings and aerosolizes very small particles called droplet nuclei containing viruses or bacteria. This droplet nuclei remain suspended in the air for long periods and can be widely dispersed by air currents over large distances. When another person inhales these small particles, he or she will be infected and potentially become ill. What is the difference between airborne and droplet transmission? Airborne transmission are small droplet nuclei less than 5 microns diameter. Stay suspended in air, and when inhaled, can reach the alveoli and cause infection. Droplet transmission, on the other hand, are large droplets greater than 5 microns in diameter, do not remain suspended in the air, so no special air handling or ventilation required, and if inhaled it does not reach the alveoli. Contact transmission. First is direct contact. Direct contact transmission occurs when the skin, mucous membranes or any discharges of an infected person come into direct contact with the skin or mucous membranes of an uninfected person, leading to the transmission of the infection. Types of direct contact transmission. Number 1 is direct skin-to-skin contact. Example, ringworm, warts, scabies, and chickenpox. Number 2 is contact with mucous membranes. Example, shingles, herpes simplex, and sexually transmitted infections. Second is indirect contact. Indirect contact can occur when objects become contaminated with infectious discharges. When other persons come in contact with these objects and then touch their skin or the mucous membranes of the eyes, nose, or mouth, they can then become infected. This type of transmission route is particularly common in schools. What are the types of indirect contact transmission? Number 1 is formites. Formites is any non-living object or substance capable of carrying infectious organisms such as viruses or bacteria, and hence transferring them from one individual to another. Number 2 is fecal to oral. Intestinal tract infections are occasionally spread through the oral ingestion of viruses, bacteria, or parasites that can be found in the stool of an infected person or animal. This type of transmission, known as fecal-oral transmission, occurs when objects contaminated with microscopic amounts of human or animal feces are inadvertently placed in the mouth. In schools, the sites most frequently contaminated with feces are hands, classroom floors, faucet handles, toilet flush handles, toys, and tabletops. Fecal-oral transmission can also occur when food or water contaminated with microscopic amounts of human or animal feces is consumed. Next, indirect contact transmission is body and fluids. Some infections may occur when an infected person's blood or body fluids come in direct contact with damaged, non-intact skin or mucous membranes. Examples of body fluids implicated in this form of disease transmission include blood, spinal, pericardial, seminal, and cervical fluids. Next is vector-borne. Many infections are transmitted to humans through vectors, however this type of transmission is very rare within schools. Vector is a term broadly used to refer to any animal or blood-sucking arthropod. Example, mosquito, tick, lice that transmits a pathogen or plays an essential role in the pathogen's life cycle. Generally, a vector becomes infected with an infection-causing virus, bacterium, or parasite and then transmits that agent through feeding activity to a human or other animal, causing a vector-borne disease. Last, indirect contact transmission is zoonotic. Many infections can be transmitted from animals to humans, though this type of transmission is very rare within schools. Infections may be through direct contact with the secretions or excretions from an infected animal, from its bite, contact with its food or water, or from contact with the organisms that share the animal's environment. Examples of infections that can be spread by zoonotic transmission include salmonellosis from reptiles and amphibians, ringworm from cats, and rabies from bats. Prevention and control of communicable diseases. First is hand hygiene. Good hand hygiene is the most effective way to stop the spread of disease-causing germs. Hand washing is one of the best techniques for preventing and controlling the transmission of infection. Use running water and antibacterial soaps or alcohol-based hand rubs for hand hygiene. Next, prevention and control is respiratory etiquette. Respiratory infections can be spread from coughs or sneezes. Make sure tissues are available in all classrooms. Students and staff should cover their mouths when coughing and use a tissue when sneezing or blowing their noses. Tissues should be thrown away immediately, followed by proper hand washing. Alcohol-based hand gels may be used in the classrooms to minimize disruption. If a tissue is unavailable, coughing or sneezing into the crook of the elbow or into one's upper sleeve instead of the hands will also reduce the risk of infection transmission and contamination of objects within the school. Lastly, proper immunization and antibiotic usage. Childhood immunization, adult immunization, appropriate antibiotic use, and food safety. Maraming salamat mga ga, sa pananatili at panunood. Naway may natutunan kayo na magagamit nyo sa inyong pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. Hanggang sa muli, Omping!